I'm Coffee Kevin. It's that time of year as the Earth has traveled once more around our solar system. I'm here to once again predict the future of coffee. Regardless of the reason, whether it's a changing environment, deep state shenanigans, or simply the demand outstripping supply, the availability of great single-origin beans is said to be running low. The current method is simply to chase great coffees around the globe to find the best. Of course, this is extremely hard on the farmers, the most vital creative force. For them, it means perpetual insecurity, perhaps less of a concern to you and me, although it can get expensive, plus it's hard on everyone downstream in the coffee world. It seems as soon as a hot new bean region is discovered, a bad year happens, and we simply start all over again in another geographic location. One solution favored by big agribusiness is genetically modified beans. I don't think the public is ready for this solution. Another suggestion is the joining hybridization of Arabica and Robusta species, which would hopefully marry the hardiness of Robusta with the arguably better taste of Arabicas. I predict the growth of a third solution, the time-tested promotion of blends. Blends were at one time the backbone of the industry, actually still true at lower price tiers. Brands were created and loyally loved that found ways to take the best traits of usually 3 or more single origins that could be designed to create a consistent taste profile. These blends wouldn't need to include Robustas nor require GMOs. Blends would ultimately offer more stability to farmers who would still be able to brand market-sustainable single origins to well-heeled explorer enthusiasts, while those of us who just want a good cup of joe would realize ongoing availability, cost savings, and still have wonderful coffee. I see the continued growth of grinding. No single brewing accessory is more vital to those at home who want fresh-tasting coffee. While genuine progress has been made in packaging that preserves freshness, along with the growth of locally roasted beans, nothing at home is more important than grinding your own beans if you want to taste the local cafe in your own kitchen. Nothing, that is, other than brewing your own coffee using one of the craft brew devices or machines. This leads directly into brewer predictions. As the majority of 2020 kept us more or less quarantined at home, the growth of craft home coffee brewing was enormous. I'm going to go totally out on a limb of predicting continued growth of at-home cafe-quality brewed coffee and all that goes with it. Not since the early part of the 20th century has at-home consumer attention to cuisine experienced this kind of growth. Yes, the K-Cup is here to stay, but more often than not, it's simply a stepping stone to other methods. Once someone has regularly made a good-tasting cup of coffee, they inevitably want a better one, and different kinds of tastes that can only be achieved through the various different brewing methods. Although it's really not a widespread consumer practice, the analytical brewing of coffee that the industry calls cupping is no doubt due for a restart. Cupping is deplorable by health standards, but seemed perpetually grandfathered by an industry stuck in ancient history and unable to fix it. We discovered this when we began CoffeeCon and wished to include tasting classes. Look for efforts to reinvent cupping to be safer while still providing a shared practice to evaluate coffees and compare notes. One of the effects of mass quarantine is even manufacturers are starting to recognize the increased market for smaller batch brewers. I see a continued trend in this segment. Perhaps small brewers are easier to tool. They're certainly easier to heat water for. Multiple brewers are a trend as well. I recall the first time someone commented on why anyone would need both a desktop and a laptop. This comment was before the advent of smartphones, iPads, and various other chip-driven devices. So it will continue to grow in terms of brewing devices, each aimed at a desired taste and batch size. Cold brew? It's here to stay. I still remember the first winter when a cafe owner called and reported that cold brew sales hadn't trailed off as the cold winds hit. Not only cold brew, but cold drinks, mixed drinks, flavors are going to supplant the puritanical third way of austerity, of making a virtue of plainness. It's not a sin to add whatever you like to your cup. Perhaps it's the last freedom, but it's one that a true enthusiast will fight for, at least according to me. Therefore, don't be surprised at CoffeeCon reflecting these predictions of the future. I'm planning an event aimed at the trends I see emerging. History tells us that these blips, like plagues, have far-reaching, lasting effects on societies. These are my predictions for 2021. I wish everyone a happy 2021. Stay safe. And thank you to my sponsor, Jacques Chalot and his Creeby Coffee, where they will custom roast your beans while you wait. Be sure to share our upcoming CoffeeCon event, now scheduled for March 6, 2021. Also, like and subscribe. I'm Coffee Kevin.